From groceries to gas, things are costing more these days, but there is one hobby that can actually save you money, and it's gardening.
I need to learn about this. Garden guide Del Kay is outside of our studio showing us how to save money while gardening. I know I spent a fair amount of money last week, and yes, I'm all ears.
Good morning, Alex. Actually easy to do, right? You go to the garden center and you shop like crazy. One thing that I always do is go with a list. I do it with groceries. I do it at the garden shop as well. Super key. Inherently though, gardening is a relatively inexpensive hobby. When I think of all the hobbies out there, my son plays golf. By crikey, that's expensive for him. Inherently though, gardening is relatively inexpensive. So that's the good news. Makes us feel good, makes our homes look good, patios, decks, all that fun stuff. So great stuff, a great thing to get into. But there are little ways you can save some money gardening. So let's take a look at some of those tips now. The first one of the most not only labor intensive, but I guess kind of money intensive parts of your backyard, if you got one, is the lawn itself. You got to mow it, that's gas, fertilizer, watering, all that stuff. There are some lawn alternatives out there. And I brought two examples. The one in the back here is called Japanese spurge or pachysandra. That one is a low ground cover. It does very well in the shade if you've got a shady spot. And then this one here in front is a ground cover thyme. It's very prostrate, lays flat to the ground. You can walk on it super easy. And the great thing about thyme is it has a wonderful little flower, and it's just like any of the thymes, like the herb. It has actually a fragrance to it as well. So as you're tiptoeing along your lawn, you get that fragrance as well. There are some areas where grass doesn't grow, so instead of persevering with that, using alternatives like this or switching over your whole lawn is definitely an option that's inexpensive. Both of these come back year after year. Saving water, of course. We talk about mulching a lot. Add extra mulch to your garden. Also little watering kits, like rain drip kits like this, get water exactly where it's needed and uses a lot less water through these little tubes that you run through your garden beds, and relatively inexpensive to purchase as well. Vinegar, one of those kind of household staples, makes a great weed killer, a fraction of the cost of any type of weed killer that you'd buy in the store. You pop it in a little squirt gun, and that will also take care of weeds. And then it will also clean your pots up too. Anything dirty, even my wife's like, "Hey Dale, go out and clean the windows with vinegar," she says. It does a really good job of cleaning windows as well, but I don't like cleaning windows. It's like my least favorite thing to do, but that does a good job with that too. Seeds, growing plants from seeds, of course, is really inexpensive, saves lots of money. Of course, grow your own food, but it's just not a spring fling thing either. You can still plant beans, you can still plant spinach. I run peas all year. Also, lettuce is another good one that you can grow year round, grow multiple crops of it. You can also save your seeds too. I got some peas here from last year as well. One of the easiest things to do to save money is not pay for fertilizer. It's super easy to do. It's called composting. Everything goes into a compost bin. You keep tabs on the temperature. You can use a little compost accelerator too. There are some simple do's and don'ts with composting. So here are my simple tips. Some of my most common things that I'm asked about. The do's are all your fruit and veg scraps. Those can go into the compost. Also, grass clippings, they can go into the compost. Coffee grounds, tea bags, they can go into the compost as well. Some don'ts: no dairy, no meat, no pet poop, no cat, no dog poop, that's a no-no. And then also nothing diseased. If you've got diseased plants or anything with a fungus on them, don't put those in the compost either. But once you get compost working and incorporating that into your soil, great soil structure, and then also free fertilizer as well, it's absolutely magic. Beneficial insects, attracting beneficial insects to your yard will also help you reduce the costs of sprays, keep all those nasty little mites and flies out of your gardens. Mason bees or any of the native bees are really good to have on hand. Using starter, let's talk about size a little bit. Oftentimes, of course, the easiest way to save money is planting smaller plants. There's nothing truer than that. If you buy little starter plants, these are tomatoes here. Oftentimes when you plant these deep, especially tomatoes, even you can do them at this time of year, the smaller the cell pack, the less expensive it is to plant. Also, when you container sizes, same plant, just a 2-gallon. We work in gallons at the garden shop, which is this black pot here, 2-gallon, 5-gallon. What's the difference? Well, usually just the age of the plant, but oftentimes the smaller plants will actually grow quicker and establish faster than the larger ones. So 2 gallon is a great alternative and a lot cheaper than a 5 gallon plant. And then planting perennials instead of annuals. I'll just push this bush to the side here. Same color plant. These are little marigolds. You have to plant them every year. Although relatively inexpensive, you can get the same bang for the buck with a perennial. This one here is butterfly weed. It's great at attracting pollinators. Same color. So planting perennials that come back year after year is really good as well. And then also shop sales, garage sales, any type of sale. Of course, you're going to save money there. I found this pot that's about a fraction of what it was at the store. And then, as I mentioned, make sure you have a list, because when you go to the garden shop and you see all those beautiful flowers, it's really easy to load up because it is so fun. But shopping with a list, of course, will help you save money as well.
That is the smart way to go. And then if you buy a lot of plants, as I was just telling Shane, then you have to plant them all.
This is true.
That's the fun part. That's the fun part.
Yeah, I still have some to plant. I bought too many.
Then you have to buy another pot, and then it just it's a cycle.
It
Dale.
is.
It's a cycle.
But still, really good pointers there
Yeah.
to save money, especially buying perennials. You don't have to plant them year after year.